All right, welcome back. We continue right here live, Pittsburgh CW. Bob Pompeani and Chris Mueller join us on the Borders and Borders hotline. Give a shout out here to Mario Lemieux's son, Austin. Chris, you're a golfer. Austin hits the ball an awfully long way, and I know he's really refined his game. So at the John Abram Memorial Golf Tournament today at Allegheny, it was all three amateurs were 1, 2, and 3 in this. Tanner Grigorczyk, I'm not sure if I'm saying that name right, -3, he won at 67. Then it was Austin Lemieux along with Darren Kowalski. These are two good players, but Austin has really been terrific. Finished in a tie for second at -268. And you know, Chris, if you shoot 68 from the tips on a course like that, or any course for that matter, that's pretty good stuff. And Austin Lemieux is playing well.
Pom, just seeing scores. Darren Kowalski won a big event at South Hills, so Austin Lemieux last week, Austin Lemieux in good company. Seeing scores like that, and then you put it in my mind that they're doing this at a very nice course from the tips. Why do you have to do this to me, huh? I shot 43 for 9 holes today. I was hooking the ball all over creation. But very impressive stuff from Austin Lemieux,
well,
honestly.
Wait a minute. 43 is not bad. If you're hooking a ball, you must have had some sort of short game to compensate, because that is the great eraser, you know, in golf. So if you can do that.
I was hitting a bunch of lucky shots. I couldn't putt either.
All right, we're going to talk about the Penguins here as we move along, but first let's get to the lines because we have a lot of people want to talk. Mike and Ross, you're first. Go ahead, Mike. How are you? Welcome.
Good, Bob. Chris, how you doing tonight?
Good, thanks.
Hey, Bob. My question is, what's with the Ray Searage when he was the pitching coach here? It seems like all the pitchers, I see Glasnow had another great game again today, J.A. Happ, Charlie Morton. Seems like when the pitchers leave here, they become better pitchers. Is it just the pitching coach that we had, or is it something different than that?
Pitch to contact
it was the
theme.
philosophy. I mean,
Right.
Here's the problem, Mike. You had a philosophy that worked for a while, and when baseball was using a deader baseball, like in 2013, and defense and more of a speed game, kind of like the 1980s was the rage, pitching to contact and having a good defense to field a bunch of ground balls and shifting to the proper areas on the field all radically like that, that was great. Then they started finding out, oh, wait a minute, when guys are hitting the ball out of the ballpark, we've got to go to plan B, except they didn't have one. All the Rays did was tell Tyler Glasnow, hey, be 6'8" and throw 100 miles an hour and wipe people out with a curveball. He said, oh, that sounds like a novel concept. I was never told that in Pittsburgh. The Pirates ruined him mentally, I think, and Ray Searage bears a lot of the blame for that. So now Ben Cherington and his staff have to look wistfully in Tampa and see the sins of the previous regime play out.
Yeah, and unfortunately, and every time I bring this up, people say, forget about it's old news, but it is news because Tyler Glasnow was again outstanding. 9 strikeouts tonight in 4 innings, and his team clobbered the Braves, who were operating on not a lot of sleep. 13-5 was, I think, the final score, at least the last check I saw. Let's go to Dennis in Johnstown. Dennis, you're up next. Go ahead.
Yeah, Bob, I have a question on the spitting rule in baseball today. I thought it was totally outlawed, but over the past several games, I've seen Brian Reynolds do it 4 times. The one guy for St. Louis did it once, and these 2 people here for Milwaukee did it. Now, with the coronavirus, I thought that was outlawed, but most of the times I've seen it around the batter spots when someone's up there batting. What is the rule on spitting?
It's not being enforced from what I understand. Chris, when it first came out, they said you couldn't do a lot of things, but I think they've relaxed some of those. Do you have any further information?
Telling baseball players they can't spit is like telling a fish, you have those gills, but you can't use them to breathe. Sorry. Like listen, I'm all for safety. I think I've made that clear over the many months here. I'm very much on board with the idea of being as safe and as cautious as possible. The idea that you were going to start a baseball season and have players adhere to a rule telling them do not spit while you were out on the field or really anywhere was such a farce it should never have even been presented.
Yeah, I agree with that. And they were just trying to overdo it. But quite frankly, that's something that, you know, there are a lot of things they put in there that I wondered about when it first happened, and they're not going to be enforced. All right, I want to talk to you, Chris, real quick before we go to other calls about the Penguins, because they're going to play a preseason exhibition game, whatever you want to call it, tomorrow in Toronto against the Flyers. A lot of debate about what Mike Sullivan should do in this game. Sidney Crosby did practice today. He's going to play over the weekend. Should he play tomorrow? Would you play him tomorrow?
I wouldn't. And if you can't beat the Canadians basically without a warm-up, then you shouldn't be in this thing. Because I'm very much on upset alert just because that's the Penguins' history at times in the playoffs. But this isn't an 8 seed that you would be going up against. You'd be playing the 24th best team in the league. in this 5-game series. And I would not risk it in an exhibition game. Not Crosby, not against the Flyers, who might not be the goon squad Flyers of days past and years past, but are still the Flyers. They see black and gold sweaters. They see red like a bull in a china shop. Like, think about, here's how I prove this point, or here's how I make this argument in kind of final terms. If we're talking in 24 hours about how Sidney Crosby got some sort of a leg injury that might keep him out for the Montreal series in this game, people are going to blow their stacks, and rightly so. So just against that backdrop, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, there's too much risk for what you can get from a reward, so therefore
What's the
I
reward?
wouldn't do it either.
What is it?
Well, I think these guys, a lot of them have to get a game just because they want to get a game. They haven't done that in quite some time, and this is only a best of 5. So it does increase the chances that you could be eliminated a lot quicker, and I think you have to be on guard for that. I think Mike Sullivan will use that, and you will see a lot of veterans play in that game tomorrow. That's just my guess, but I don't know what he's going to do about goaltending, and they brought 4 of them there, Chris, 4 of them. You could put the Smith in there. You don't necessarily have to play Murray or Jari. I'd like to see each of them get in for half the game. Do you or not?
I wouldn't mind. I kind of revised this. At first, I thought it should just be Murray. And now I guess I could see, since it's an exhibition game, maybe you tip your hand a little. The guy that's probably going to start, which I think is going to be Murray, plays 2 periods. Jari plays 1. As for the other guys that they brought with them, tough luck. I would just play the 2 goalies that you intend to play and play the guy that you intend to start more than the backup.
All right, back to the lines we go. Ken in Greensburg is our next caller. Welcome to the Borders and Borders Hotline. Ken, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Bob?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, I think the biggest downgrade this season that I can see is center field position with Marte gone and Dyson, which is just the disaster. I don't think it's an automatic out with him. I think you need to replace him with somebody. And also, I want to say that thank goodness Redbeard the Pirate's doing well. I really like him. I hope he does well for the team.
Yeah, Dyson is just a stopgap. So is Heredia. We were talking on the radio about this, Chris, today. I would rather see some younger guys. If that means Cole Tucker, so be it. I want to see somebody out there get a chance. But I don't think that Ben Shelton's going to do it Ben Shelton.
Derek Shelton.
Derek Shelton. He's not going to do that.
I can understand why you would say that, though, because there have been suggestions in the past that the general manager was setting the lineup for the manager in this franchise. I don't think that's really out of class here to be saying that.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But, at this point, they're putting a lot of guys in there. They haven't had one set lineup. They're moving guys around. We'll see how it works, and they're leading tonight. Still, I think 1-0. We'll update that as we come back. But right now, it's time for our Tri-State Office Furniture Tweet of the Day. And this comes to us from the Jeanette Sports Group, the Jayhawks. And this is sad news. The entire Jeanette Jayhawk family mourns the loss of Trey Cunningham, the epitome of student athlete, a gifted athlete who in school was humble, astute, respectful, a young man with a bright future. He's gone too soon. Our condolences to his family and friends, and we certainly echo that on the loss of Trey Cunningham. We'll be back with more of your calls right here. It's the Nightly Sports Call, 7 nights a week on Pittsburgh CW.